Welcome back. Here's the Kovacs report, and we have some good news out from DC. Yes, we have a new Black Label book. Gabriel Hardman is teaming up with Batman, Green Arrow, and The Question for a new miniseries called Arcadia. Yes, it sounds ominous. Now, I'm going to dive into this article and find out what it's all about. We're going to take a look at some of the interior pages and some beautiful covers. But before that happens, if you can, hit that subscribe button. It means the world to me, helps me grow the channel, and I'll thank you now and forever for it. And of course, at the end, if you like the video, give it a little like. So, if you don't know what Black Label is, it's one of DC's imprints. It was founded in September 2018, and it was designed for writers and artists to create more adult-orientated, edgy stories without having to follow the rules of continuity and, of course, age ratings. So this is a much more adult-orientated imprint. Also, with the discontinuation of Vertigo, some of the new and current series, as well as reprints of old titles, are being published under the DC Black Label imprint. That began in 2022. So we've had some big books reprinted. We have The Sandman, Fables, Why the Last Man, The Sleeper, Sweet Tooth, Animal Man, Doom Patrol, Swamp Thing, Watchmen even, and iZombie. So it's a pretty big deal, and usually these books are pretty damn good. Speaking of damn, one of my favorites was Batman Damned by Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo, and there's been so many more that have been fantastic. I'm going to name a few: Harleen, Joker Killer Smile, Birds of Prey, Batman the Smile Killer, Batman 3 Jokers, Hellblazer Rise and Fall, Joker Harley Criminal Sanity, and of course more recently Zatanna Bring Down the House, which was Eisner Award winning by Mariko Tamaki and Javier Rodriguez. We've also had Superman, he's been in there too, The Last Days of Lex Luthor, and currently I think it's one more issue to come is Resurrection Man Quantum Karma by Ram V, which is exceptionally good. I took a wild card chance of picking that book up, and I'm so glad I did. It is incredible. So when we get one of these Black Label books, I tend to celebrate. We've also got to look forward to Superman The Kryptonite Spectrum by Ice Cream Man team over at Image of W. Maxwell Prince and Martin Morazzo. So this is a big deal, because they're usually much better books. Now, as you may have noticed, it's teaming up Batman, Green Arrow, and The Question. It might remind you of the 1998 Fables crossover, which spanned Detective Comics Annual 1, Green Arrow Annual 1, and The Question Annual 1, which was written by Denny O'Neil with art by Dennis Cowan and Mike Grell, and others, of course. So it united Batman, Green Arrow, and The Question in a gritty, character-driven story, and it was set against the backdrop of social and political intrigue. Now, these three vigilantes, each with distinct ideologies, converge to confront a conspiracy involving Lady Shiva and a mysterious cult. Now, O'Neill's narrative emphasised their contrasting approaches to justice, with Batman's methodical intensity, Green Arrow's rebellious idealism, and The Question's philosophical paranoia clashing and complementing each other. The story explored themes of morality and social corruption, culminating in The Question uncovering the truth behind Shiva's mission, all rendered in a grounded, noir-inspired style that reflects the late 80s. Okay, so that's what we've had before, but this one wants to be a little bit different. So it's taken inspiration from it, but it's not a follow-on from it. Okay, it's its own thing. Now let's dive straight in. So it says, you've read countless stories about Batman battling the Joker on the streets of Gotham, but what about Batman taking on billionaires on an ocean-faring utopian city? This sounds fantastic. Alongside other DC vigilantes, that's exactly what he'll do when Batman, Green Arrow, The Question, Arcadia begins, with the first issue coming out this November, so it's not too far away. So the DC Black Label, we've spoken about that. It's a darker and more mature stories, but this is a 4-issue mini-series, right? And it says, for a new era of open-class warfare and ecological collapse, in a noir detective thriller, according to the news release, Bruce Wayne investigates a climate-hardened city of Arcadia, while Green Arrow and The Question uncover the secrets buried beneath the city to try and figure out what's really going on. So this sounds really good. So, you know, comics tend to bring in current affairs and politics. Usually it's very heavy, and it's more about the ideology than the story. But this sounds like it is using these real world occurrences and things that are going on to build a good story around some superheroes that we love. So it's written and drawn by Gabriel Hardman, who's known for his work on the top-notch Green Lantern Earth 1 graphic novels and the Hugo-nominated Invisible Republic from Image. He says, while I'm taking inspiration from the great work of Denny O'Neil, Dennis Cowan, and Mike Grell, this series isn't an exercise in nostalgia. Now, I'm pleased to hear that, because a lot of these 80s themed books, and I love the 80s themed books, are particularly drawn to them. They usually just focus on nostalgia at the expense of a good story. So he says here, I'm taking the grounded approach they spearheaded in the late 80s and moving forward, having these three difficult, opinionated personalities confront a contemporary brand of criminality on a global scale. That sounds fantastic. So it will publish monthly before a collected hardcover arrives in June 2026. That's a long time. It says, sorry, trade waiters, but we're going to be waiting a while. So the first issue features a variant cover from Dennis Cowan and Bill Sienkiewicz. That was originally a poster advertising a crossover between the three vigilantes in the late 80s. So you can check out the variant cover and the artwork here. Let's have a look at it. So this is the variant cover, of course. It has all the signature of Sienkiewicz there. It looks stunning. I love how the smoke, or the that ethereal white thing that's going on, turns into a question mark by the question. Looks very, very, very cool. And of course, we've got the main cover here by Gabriel Hardman. So this already is looking exciting. And what really drew me in, other than the story, was this art. It looks so good. It really feels like you're in the 80s, which is good because that's where the story set, I guess. Or maybe that's where the inspiration came from. I'm sure this story is set in today, but it does have that gritty noir feel, and that's what really draws me to it. We can see a helicopter being loaded here by some nefarious dudes, obviously, and then someone's chucking an explosive. This looks good. It's got explosions already. I'm already hooked. And then we've got, crikey, we've got Batman here kicking the hell out of some bad guys. Look at that. Look at that teeth clenching grin. He's enjoying this. He's loving it. This book, the art already is stunning. Green Arrow here showing off, shooting an arrow through some coins as he does, and having a beer, of course, because he's just that kind of guy. So there we have it. That sounds cool to me. I'm really excited. I love the Black Label line. So will you be picking this up? Are there some Black Label books that you recommend that I may or may not have read? I'd like to know your thoughts. So drop them in the comments. You've heard my thoughts. We will definitely be reviewing this on the channel. So until next time, read more comics, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.